Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to learn about how to play the Caro Kann defense as black. But before we get into that, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more great opening videos. So the Caro Kann is going to be a very solid defensive opening. So it's for those players who really want to have a very solid position, no weaknesses. Let your opponents push and basically make weaknesses along the way. So we're going to start e4, c6, d4, d5. So this is going to be very similar to the French in some positions, but also very different in others. You're going to see this e6 and c5 break a bunch throughout this video. So here we're going to start with e takes d5. So here take, and there's kind of two setups that we're going to see. Either white plays c4, or he's going to play c3, bishop d3, and play very solid. So here if c4, we're going to go knight f6. Knight c3, g6, so we want to give up this pawn. So here take, we don't want to take back. Bishop g7, if he tries holding onto it, castle. And here we're going to have the maneuver knight d7, knight b6, push a5, a4, win this pawn, and then try to win this d4 pawn. And here, these isolated double pawns are not going to be in the favor for white. So that's what we're going to do if they play c4. Now if they play c3, or basically bishop d3, they're going to transpose. We go knight c6, c3, and now that this pawn isn't under pressure, we're going to put pressure with e5. Not yet, but eventually. So queen c7, knight e2, bishop g4, trying to provoke a weakness. So f3, bishop d7, bishop f4. And here we're completely fine playing e5 here and take. And even though this is in a pin, bishop d6 is going to come next, and then we are free to move this knight because this pin will now be over. So that's what you're going to do against these lines with take on d5 and either c4 or d3. Now instead of that, so here we're going to look at e5. So here we need to get our bishop out ASAP, so bishop f5. Here if g4, bishop g6, h4, h5. So here they're trying to trap our bishop. The threat is h5 and after bishop e4, f3. So we don't want to let our bishop get trapped. So h5, if g5, we play e6. You're going to see this square is now wide open for us. So here bishop d3, we would play take, queen takes, knight e7, and basically get this knight to f5, push c5, get this queen out of the way so we can castle queenside. And here these pawns are pushed too far and they're going to become targets. And here we have a lot of great outposts, and you can see basically there are no weaknesses in our position. If h5 is ever under attack, we can always just play g6. So that's what we're going to do if they go g5. Now also you might see e6. This is more of an attacking variation. So here we take on g4, queen takes. If take on f7, we simply play bishop takes, and you'll see this is going to transpose. So here take on g4, queen takes, knight h6. If bishop takes, we play rook takes h6. So here we're not castling on the king side, so we don't mind moving this rook. And now this rook is going to be very active, coming to g6 or e6. And you can see these pawns are going to be kind of weak, over pushed. You can take here, bishop takes, and now we're going to have some play against this queen and this open king. So that's what we're going to do if bishop takes h6, but also you might see take on f7. So here bishop takes, hitting this queen. If the queen moves to say e2, we can go knight f5. And now once again, these pawns are becoming targets. So that's what we're going to do after after e5, bishop f5, and g4. Now with h4, we play queen b6. Here the idea is we don't want to allow bishop d3 because here we're putting pressure on d4. So let's say for example g4 here we want to go bishop d7, not bishop d6 or bishop g6, because then h5 is going to trap this bishop. So bishop d7, knight c3, and now e6. And the idea is going to be c5, knight c6, pressure on this d pawn, and here we've made no weaknesses, and these pawns once again are over pushed. So that's what we're going to do here after g4. So instead you might see knight c3, so now we go h5, preventing that because we want to start pushing e6. So here if bishop d3, the pawn on d4 goes. If knight e2, we're going to play e6, knight g3 back. You can't go bishop d3 because once again the d pawn goes. And here it's going to make it a little bit annoying for him because also this bishop can't move. And here we're going to continue this plan c5, undermining this pawn on d4. Now lastly, if knight to a4, so here knight c3, h5, knight a4, we just go queen c7, and here the plan is simple. Once again e6, and then knight d7, c5, pressure this pawn. If he ever goes c3, we have b5, and this knight is going to be trapped. or he has to play here, take, and we can win probably both these pawns, but here we can always just take here first, and then go knight d7 and collect the other one. So that's what we're going to do there if e5, bishop f5. So now lastly, we're going to look at what happens if knight to c3. So here we're going to play take on e4, knight takes, and here we're going to play the Fort Knox variation. Very, very solid. So here if knight g5, we can just go h6, knight f3, and very similar plan, e6, c5, pressure d4, get our king out. We have no weaknesses, and here we can start attacking the center. And instead, if knight takes f6, pawn takes, c3, and here bishop to d6. And here the idea is castle as fast as possible. Queen c2, rook e8, something like this, h6, and then get this knight to f8, where it's going to be very good on defense. Another variation that we can see is going to be something like this. So here, knight e2, rook e8, bishop e3, knight d7. This is if he tries to castle queenside. So queen c2, knight f8, castle, and here after a5, our attack is going to be probably faster than his, and his knight on f8 is going to do a very, very good job on defense, protecting this h7 pawn. So this is how you want to play the Caro Kann. Remember, very solid, make very little weaknesses, and let your opponent overpush his pieces so that later on in the game, they're going to be weak and exposed. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure to check out wolfchess.org for great lessons, videos, and puzzles, and hope you guys were entertained.